Well, howdy hi friends and neighbors. Stevie Coyle here, your old pal from Lafayette, California, and Mighty Fine Guitars with the Friday noontime webcast. Oh boy, I got something to show you today. As so often happens, I just sit here doing my thing, answering the never-ending pile of email that is my life, talking on the phone, visiting with folks when they come in, selling guitars, setting up lessons, and occasionally one of those people brings in a guitar that makes your face do that. Whatever happened. Let me make sure, speaking of faces, let me make sure my face is happening on the actual website here. Looks like it is. All right. For better and for worse, looks like it's happening. Great. Here it is. I'm not even going to wait for folks to come in. I'll just jump right on this. 1956, birth year guitar, anyone? Always kind of nice to have a birth year guitar. 1956, banner year. That's crazy. Plays beautifully. It has been plekked. It has had a little work done here and there. The bushings in the tuners have been reseated. That's crazy. Now it looks just like it ought to. There's the Brazilian rosewood from 1956. Straight grain, quarter sawn, beautiful. This is the stuff that in many people's ears has the very best sound. Sitka spruce top. Very narrow grain. These are light gauge strings. This is 12 to 54 set. That's nuts. Let me really hit it hard for you. Just because this guitar, you know, when this guitar was first seen by the general public, a lot of people said, that's a comically huge guitar. Early 20s. Really kind of hit it in the 30s and 40s when people saw these on the cowboy westerns. And often said, what is my cowboy western hero doing playing a comically huge guitar? Because most guitars before that have been more like the guitars behind me on what I call here at Mighty Fine Guitars, the wall of small. More like that, 00 size and below, kind of the size of a classical guitar and below. That was what was considered a guitar. In fact, the 00 was kind of a big guitar. Single O is what you saw. And anything to get technical and nerdy, nerd. For just a moment, anything smaller than an O is considered a parlor guitar. That's crazy. Make a little adjustment here. Give me just a second, folks. Turn that right off. There we go. Go back to the picture. Thanks for tuning in. Those of you just tuning in, Stevie Coyle here at a shop called Mighty Fine Guitars in Lafayette, California, in the San Francisco East Bay, right in the heart of the Tri-Cities area of Lafayette, Moraga, and Orinda. The Tri-Cities area often referred to as La Marinda. It's one of those three towns you pass through on your way from Berkeley to Walnut Creek. And it's a lovely little place, real kind of beaver cleaver, sort of ranch homes. Sorry, I'm trying to talk and play at the same time, and neither one is coming out very well. Plekking is a system, it's a machine. A Plek, P-L-E-K, is a machine that you pretty much stick your guitar into. Lasers come down and examine the thing, and the machine says, I want to do this and this and this and this. I want to mill the frets. I want you to adjust the neck to this angle. I want this to happen and that to happen, all the rest. And boy, I wish Plekking wasn't so great, but it's great. It really, the setup of this guitar is fantastic. I think a bluegrasser would be happy with it, can hit it nice and hard without rattling those strings. So you're doing battle with a banjo. You're looking for a banjo killer. Here's one. It's a visceral experience playing this thing. Now, it's not what you would call gorgeous, but for those of you that know, it's gorgeous, isn't it? This guitar has just the kind of wear on it you want to see. You know that this guitar has been played in. It's been played up. It's been played a lot. Scratches on the top, worn through the finish. Fantastic. Love it. There's some mojo. For those of you that don't know, and most of you probably do that tune into this channel, most of you know, some of you might not, that guitars get better as they get played, as they get vibrated. Nobody knows exactly why that is. Maybe it's the vibration kind of knits everything together and the guitar responds as a unit. Who knows? Maybe there's something about the alignment of the molecules in the various woods. In the same way that I would almost wish that human beings could do as great a job at setting up a guitar as a Plek can. And they can. Just the Plek is a great guide to saying, here's what this guitar really needs to play at its maximal level. In the same way, I really wish Brazilian rosewood didn't sound the way it sounds, because it's a rare wood, endangered. From 1956, though, it wasn't. It's probably on its way. But there's something about it that sounds like this. Let me check and see, make sure things are going out here. Boy, you know, my system does this. It'll take me just a second to get back to you folks. Starting over all together. Turn off, turn off, turn off. Boy, I got a lot of stuff open here. 1956, Martin D-28. D for dreadnought, the size of the body, the big boy. And the 28 means Brazilian rosewood back and sides and a narrow fingerboard. It's kind of one of those guitars, I don't know what to play next on it. It's so much fun. It's really loud. So a lot of people think of a dreadnought as something you can hit hard and it'll respond and it won't rattle. And that's true. But if you've got a really soft touch, a really loud guitar can help you out. There's some folks I know that come into the shop and I'm always encouraging them, saying, go ahead and play it a little louder. Because below a certain threshold, most guitars sound just the same. They have to reach a certain threshold to get their voice, for their particular voice, excuse me, to activate. And that's what I encourage folks to do all the time in this here shop. Let's go back and see if I can see some comments and questions. For those of you that are watching later, not at noon Pacific Daylight Time on the West Coast, do leave your comments and questions in whatever thread you're on, either in the Facebook thread, the Instagram thread, or the YouTube thread, because I post all three places. And let me know which one you saw what on. Now, I've been playing this with a flat pick because that's typically what would happen with a guitar like this. Lots of great finger picking music happened on dreadnoughts as well, though. There's one. There's something about playing just that. My ear's expecting things to go a little bit out of tune on the low strings, and it's totally acceptable. It's kind of a thing that happens with guitars. The low strings intonate differently from the high strings, which is why you've got a little angle kicked into the bridge saddle here so that the low strings are effectively longer than the skinny strings. But having been plekked, the intonation on this guitar is so spectacularly good, it's really kind of shocking. Delightfully surprising. big boy like this, I gotta try a little open tuning action. It's not a full open tuning, just a drop D. We'll put him in the ground, 6 feet down, till you hear that coffin sound. You can weep, you can moan, but that old boy ain't never coming home. Another man done a full go round, another man done a full go round. You need this guitar. Somebody needs this guitar. This is a player. It's collectible in a certain sense, in a very real sense. People talk about collectible guitars as those guitars that are pristine and fabulous and untouched and unscathed. Probably, I'm guessing, not played in either. Guitars like this are player guitars, designed to be played the daylights out of because they're accustomed to it. It's just fabulous everywhere on the neck and easy to play. It's an easy play, but it doesn't rattle. All right, so long scale, so it's really good for tuning down in case you do alternate tunings. You can play it harder than a short scale guitar without the strings rattling. Narrow at the nut, 1 11/16, typical dreadnought dimensions. This is your prototypical D-28 from time immemorial. This one happens to be from 1956. How much, you say? Well, $18,500 is the asking on this one, and worth every cent. Especially considering there are going to be no more 1956 Martin D-28s made. That's what keeps the value up. And just so you know, those of you interested in purchasing a guitar of this ilk, and this guitar does have an ilk, and it's terrific. One of the things that gets factored in every year to the price of guitars, especially vintage guitars and vintage Martins in particular, is the fact that there's going to be no more of those made. So the value increases. Over on my bar over there, I've got 3 of the recent editions of the Vintage Guide, which is a place to start looking for what guitars go for. Every year for the past 3 years, Martins of this era have gone up between $750 and $1,000. Uniformly, they go up every year. So even at $18,500, you would not be losing any money if you needed to sell or wanted to sell the guitar down the road. You'd probably make money. So, yes, a lot of money, but a lot of money comes with it, if you know what I mean. All right, Stevie Coyle here. Let me check and see if there are any comments or questions right off the bat. And again, for whatever reason, this is unavailable to me at the moment. Try one more thing. Sorry, kids. Sorry about this. Go back over there. See what's happening there. Yeah. Oh well. Facebook follies. You've got comments and questions, please list them down below here. I'll be doing my damnedest to answer those promptly. I will also send this over to Instagram, to the Mighty Fine Guitars account on Instagram, and to the Stevie Coyle Music YouTube page as well. I've got a channel over there. So this guitar will appear all those places. If you know somebody that you think might be interested, a like-minded soul that might be interested in a 1956 Martin D-28, let me know and put me in touch, and we'll take it from there. Thanks a lot, y'all. No telling what's coming in next week. I have no way of telling you what next week's Friday noontime webcast is going to look like. But at any rate, thanks for tuning in this week, and I'll see you down the road. Stevie Coyle here at Mighty Fine Guitar signing off. Da, 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 da.